OdeeLoccSportsInfo here, back with another vid for you guys. Yeah, y'all, hit that subscribe, like, bell icon so y'all can be notified of this reel, because y'all know OdeeLoc keeps it real. Yeah, y'all, let's talk about the business of boxing, right? A little bit, right? Because I'm really starting to understand how crooked, that boxing is, because it's a very crooked sport. Very crooked, right? So, also, I'm going to be, kind of defending Manny Pacquiao in this video. And I know, that's probably going to shock a lot of people, but the writing is on the wall, right? Manny Pacquiao, okay, he fought Keith Thurman. He took a layoff, okay, right? But we went through a pandemic in 2020, and we still going through this pandemic, right? So he should be excused. Every other fighter, they use that as a damn excuse, right? Every other fighter, they use it as an excuse. Oh man, like it ain't no people in the stands. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. I mean, come on. Like Boo Boo Andrade, he was out the ring for 14 months. Come on. Errol Spence Jr. before he fought Danny Garcia, he was out the ring for 14 months. Come on. What's what's going on, y'all? But let me tell y'all what's going on. Al Haymon and Floyd Mayweather, they went to the WBA, right? Because it's obvious what they did. They went to the WBA and they pulled some strings because they needed that belt from Manny Pacquiao. And why did they need that belt? They needed that belt because they needed another pay-per-view event, right? For Errol Spence Jr. Think about it. Who does Errol Spence Jr. have to fight on pay-per-view, right? Because he's not going to fight Keith Thurman, right? And he's not going to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. And Manny Pacquiao, he can fight whoever the fuck he want to fight when he want to fight him, right? So who was Errol Spence Jr. going to fight again? He wasn't going to fight Sean Porter again because he went through, life and death. Who was Errol Spence Jr. going to fight on pay-per-view? Right? Because they trying to make him into this, this big old pay-per-view star. So who was he going to fight? He wasn't going to fight Crawford. Manny Pacquiao was going to do his own thing. He wasn't going to fight, Danny again. Right? He wasn't going to fight Sean again. And he said he's not going to even fight Keith Thurman. So who was he going to fight? This is why they had to get that WBA belt from Manny Pacquiao. Right? So now they can put on a pay-per-view event with him and Ugas, right? They can put on that event with him and Ugas. And this is what they are doing. They can put on that event now, right? Because Ugas, he has been bumped up to, to super champion, right? The WBA super champion. So now they can put on a pay-per-view event. Because other than that, who was Errol Spence Jr. going to fight? Come on, y'all. Y'all got to really pay attention to this boxing shit, man. What's going on? Analyze it. Realize what's going on. Look with your eyes. Take your emotions out of it. Analyze it. Look at it. Really see what's going on. Come on. Errol Spence Jr., he didn't have nobody else to fight. Right? So they had to get that belt from Manny Pacquiao. So Al Haymon, Floyd Mayweather, they went to the WBA, they pulled some strings, they said, okay, you can put Manny Pacquiao in recess, right? But we need to make a pay-per-view event for Errol Spence Jr. So we gonna strip him of this belt, put him in recess, bump up Ugas so we can have a, event for Errol Spence Jr. Other than that, we don't have nothing for him, right? What is Errol Spence Jr. going to do after this? After he fight Ugas, what is he going to do after this? He's going to either have to fight Terrence Bud Crawford or leave the damn division, right? Or unless he's going to fight Boot Ennis. Come on. Come on.